Let's go.
Okay. Today, let's do some dragon fruit. As you guys know, I bought some from online. We let it root out, and I've got this guy. This is what I'm gonna use for the dragon fruit trellis. I know they sell these on Amazon. I was able to find one locally for cheap. And honestly, this is pretty cheap filling. I think I'm gonna paint it white. But as you see, it has these several areas on here. Pretty much you screw them together. And then at the bottom, it has an X. This thing is it's like a hollow metal. It's pretty straightforward. You gotta line up the holes. These can only go one way. And then you put this at the bottom and you cover it with soil. And this should be the base. I wanted something lower. I didn't feel like going and getting wood and cutting it up, so I just got this guy. My other wood one is pretty tall. Honestly, you want to keep something that's like 3-4 feet tall, and that's what this is. I mean, it's sturdy enough. It'll do the trick. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have 4 in this one. If you didn't know already, I make my own soil. With dragon fruit, you want it to be extremely porous. This is somewhat acidic. It's made with pumice, diatomaceous earth. I'm sorry, decomposed granite, azomite, and sphagnum. It's the same soil mix I make on everything else. Oh, and some charcoal and some other minor things. This is what it kind of looks like. I'm just mixing it up. I pretty much put the base of this trellis at the very bottom. I'm gonna fill this up, leaving about, I don't know, about 5 inches from the top, and then so we can add compost and things. The thing with this soil, it doesn't break down. I'm pretty sure this isn't even considered a soil, but this is what I make all my stuff in. I'm adding some azomite here. I like everything to be well draining. It's pretty important with cactus. This is similar to a cactus mix, but it's so much cheaper, it's so much easier. But the thing is, I'll never have to replace this since it's all mineral based. Now what I'm doing is putting a layer of worm castings. I want to keep the worm castings towards the top. Essentially goes the soil, worm castings, and then compost and things that you feed it down. I don't like to have anything that's going to rot in my soil. Alright, this is a little greenhouse area, or my little babies rather. These should be well rooted in. As you can see, some purple haze, some various varieties I bought online from the other video. I've had these over here for about a couple months, and I water them every 3 days or so. And I mean, just enough to wet the roots. Like, I didn't want any water coming out the bottom at all. When I tell you I don't waste, I mean it. And look, I even got some that's starting to grow. They're already growing shoots, and so these guys are ready to be planted. And what you can also do is kind of pull on the top a little bit and see if there's resistance, and that's how you know that there's a nice rooted understory going on. And if you have these in indirect light and some heat, these will root fast. Realistically, I didn't need to leave them in here this long. I just want to make sure I had everything else growing. But these already are growing off the tips. I have to probably cut some of these off. This one's even starting to bud. That is wild. But that's how grafting and things work. The maturity, the plant itself is older. It's just it's not like it's a newborn baby, you know what I mean? Like, this plant thinks it's, let's say, 5 years old. Thus, as soon as it gets to the right height, it's gonna fruit right away. Versus you growing something from a seed, and it's a brand new baby, you have to wait for that age to get there. This is crazy. I've never had a fruit, a bud grow on something like this that I just planted. Or rather, that's not even planted. Like, this guy did not even have roots. So, I think I'm gonna be happy with this. Let's get these guys planted. So I treat everything pretty much the same. We're gonna put mycos in the bottom underneath where the roots are. I did have mycos in the pots itself, but we're gonna add some mycos and azos as well. This is supposed to help things bloom faster. And then this is supposed to help with plant shock. I bought this from Star Nursery. It's similar to Super Thrive. Whether it works or not, I'm not sure, but I haven't had shock with a lot of things. Almost anything that I've used that with. And we also want to get it some fish fertilizer right away, get some nutrients directly on top. with this being mineral based, I'm just gonna press down on the soil, and I'm not gonna super saturate it. I want those nutrients to stay for about a week or so, and then I'll get it watered deeply later. But just looking at these, I can tell that they are healthy. These are really rooted, they're ready to go. And then what you can do is give them a little shake, a little pull. I can tell that it's not coming right out, so I know that they are rooted in. I mean, in this zone for 2 weeks or so, it should be more than enough time. These have been over here for like a month and a half, so there's no reason they're not rooted. Now, if you put them in upside down, they will not root. The guy I purchased these from wrote on there, but you have to make sure that you're not putting these things upside down. If they've been in there this long at this stage and there's no roots, they're likely upside down. If you have thorn varieties, make sure you're wearing some leather gloves. These ones aren't so bad. These, as you see, these roots are pretty good. I want to make sure I'm adding mycos directly to the ball, as well as its azos. And this will sort of create a network underneath the soil. And this network will pull in nutrients easier. And it's going to be a kind of a rinse and repeat with each one of these guys. And what you want to do, you want to make sure that you have these sitting flush to the trellis. With these guys being so thick, it's a little bit harder to do, but in reality, it just needs something to give it some structure that you can tie the cuttings, the dragon fruit to, in order to grow upwards. In the wild, they connect to like trees and bark, and then they'll grow up those trees. So this is strange. I'm not really seeing a lot of roots on this guy. I'm going to put it in here anyway, but clearly it's the one already trying to give off fruit, so I'm not sure why it didn't root very well. Like I said, these have all been over there for a couple months. Excuse me, a couple weeks to a month and a half or so. Now you're going to need some of this garden stretch tape. You can buy these online, like at Amazon or anything of that sort, but if you're in Vegas, Star Nursery sells it. I literally use it on everything. And then what I'm just going to do is, with the mixture of liquids from before with some water, I'm just going to water it in a little bit, add some of this food, this worm castings, water it in, rinse and repeat. I'm looking to just make sure that the root balls are getting moist. I'm not trying to have anything come out of the bottom yet. I'm not trying to waste any nutrients. I wanted to uptake all that nutrients. And then, like I said, in about 3 days or so, I'll come back over and water it thoroughly. I really think that a lot of times people overwater in pots. One of the issues that people say with pots is that all the nutrients come out at the bottom. The thing is, if you know your soil and you know your watering and you have it on a drip irrigation system, etc., nothing should come out the bottom. Like, if it does, that means that you want it to come out the bottom. You can specifically time that and set it up for that. You hear things about air pockets and such. I have not had an issue with air pockets. If you get this pushed down enough and set up correctly, I don't know. I think people overthink it. Alright, and this is what we're looking like. I'm going to go in and get some of these tips cut off. Like, I don't want it growing from that side. I want it to come off the top like this one is. And then I'm definitely going to have to get rid of that bud. I want it to focus on rooting right now. And then we're going to change things up with the type of food that we're giving it to more of a nitrogen based food. Right now it's going to be a P and the K is what we're going to be feeding it, and then we're going to feed it some of that in later. I'm probably going to have to cut this one off the tip as well. I want it to grow on the opposite side. I want all upwards growth to be growing towards the trellis. And that's pretty much it with this soil. The soil level is not going to really change. Only that upper level of like an inch or so that I'm feeding it from with compost and worm castings, etc. And I have a blend that I make with all those for that. Dragon fruit though, technically you could do 4. It's 4-sided, so you can put 4 in here. A 20-25 gallon should be all that you need for something like this. Vegas 9B. Leave your comments on what you've done, and if you have any concerns or questions, definitely getting this painted. But let's grow.